August 1997. Somewhere in California, in a small, rented office, a man sits alone, counting numbers that all mean the same thing. 30 days. That is how much payroll his company has left. 1 month between everything he built and nothing. Everything now depends on a single computer chip shipped to stores almost untested because testing costs money they did not have. Here is what that man could not know. His dying company would become the most valuable thing human beings have ever built. Worth $5 trillion, more than Apple, more than any empire of oil, gold, or software in human history. This is the story of how the world almost never got NVIDIA, and it begins, of all places, in a diner. Act 1, 1993. A Denny's in East San Jose. The corner booth by the window. The coffee refills are free. 3 engineers meet here every week. One of them, Jensen, washed dishes at this exact restaurant chain as a teenager. Tonight, over cheap coffee, they start a company built on one belief: that graphics chips will matter more than anyone imagines. Their entire funding, $40,000. Remember that number. It is about to be tested in the cruelest way possible. 1995. Their first chip, the NV1, reaches stores. It is genuinely brilliant engineering, built on one fatal mistake. Figduff2THSPA said, NVIDIA bet that 3D graphics would be drawn from curved surfaces. Then, Microsoft standardized the entire industry on triangles. Overnight, every line of their engineering became worthless. The chip died on the shelves within months. Then it got worse. Sega had hired them to build the chip for its next console. That deal collapsed too. This is where the story should end. Another dead startup, another emptied office. Nobody remembers the losers of 1996. Instead, the head of Sega of America did something inexplicable. He wrote the dying company a $5 million check anyway, not because the contract required it, because he believed in the founder. Without that single act of faith, NVIDIA does not exist. Jensen walked into the office and fired half of his own company, 50 people. He would call it the worst day of his life. The survivors received one instruction. We build one chip. We bet everything on it. And if it fails, we die. They could not afford real prototypes. So they bought an emulator and sent the chip to production almost completely untested. Understand the gamble. One hidden flaw in that silicon, and there is no second version. No second chance. No company. August 1997. The chip ships. The bank holds 30 days of payroll. All they can do now is wait. It sold 1 million units in 4 months. NVIDIA was alive. Barely, gloriously alive. And something permanent was burned into the company that month. A sentence Jensen still opens meetings with 30 years later. Our company is 30 days from going out of business. At $5 trillion, he still says it. Fear became the operating system. Act 2. 2006. NVIDIA is now a comfortable, successful gaming company. So Jensen decides to risk all of it. Again, his new obsession is called CUDA, a software layer teaching gaming chips to do something nobody asked for. Pure, massive mathematics. The cost: hundreds of millions of dollars every single year. The number of customers requesting it, essentially 0. Wall Street called it a vanity project. The stock languished for years. Analysts openly demanded that he kill it. For an entire decade, every gaming card sold carried this expensive hidden machinery, waiting for a market that did not exist. Jensen's logic was almost religious. Build the machine that computes the future, and the future will have no choice but to arrive on it. Toronto, 2012. A handful of researchers enter an image recognition contest with a neural network and no supercomputer. They train it on a pair of consumer NVIDIA gaming cards running CUDA. They do not just win, they shatter the field. The scientific world goes quiet. Deep learning works, and it runs, of all things, on video game hardware. 4 years later, Jensen personally carries a strange golden machine into a tiny nonprofit lab in San Francisco. The first DGX-1, an artificial intelligence supercomputer in a single box. He signs it, like a gift to the future. The lab is called OpenAI. Almost no press covers the visit. Inside that box is the end of the old world. Nobody notices. Act 3. November 2022. A chatbot called ChatGPT detonates across the planet. Everything changes in a single weekend. Suddenly, every company, every government, every founder on Earth wakes up needing the exact same thing. And it is not just chips. It is NVIDIA chips. Because 20 years of the world's artificial intelligence code is written for CUDA. Switching means rewriting everything. The gaming company from the diner booth had quietly become the toll booth on the only road to the future. The numbers stopped making sense. $216 billion of revenue in 1 year, up 65%. 75% gross margins. $62 billion in a single quarter from data centers alone. Cloud GPUs sold out. And remember the cue. Costco makes you pay to enter. Rolex makes you earn the purchase. NVIDIA never planned any of this. The wealthiest corporations in human history simply cannot buy enough. So they wait, in allocation lines, for permission to spend billions. Now, the honest part. Because a $5 trillion castle has cracks, and they are real. Two customers alone provide over a third of NVIDIA's revenue, and its biggest buyers are all quietly building their own chips. Escape tunnels. China, once a giant market, currently contributes almost nothing, walled off by export politics, while local rivals grow behind the wall. And the deepest question? NVIDIA's fortune rests on one belief, that artificial intelligence will pay for itself. If that belief pauses, the toll road empties. Jensen knows all of this. That is exactly why, 30 years later, he still says the sentence. At that Denny's in San Jose, there is a plaque on the corner booth now. Costco, one trust. Rolex, one desire. NVIDIA, one dependence. 30 days from going out of business. $5 trillion, both true. Next time, the restaurant that is secretly one of Earth's biggest landlords, McDonald's.